So important, Nick.
Is it?
Yeah. So this is probably going to be our noisiest episode yet. There's bands practicing in the spaces, and I think the store that we try not to talk about.
Yeah, the unknown store
the
above.
Unknown store above us.
They're making some noise.
I think they're sweeping. That sounds like a. I'm very familiar with that. With spending a
with
career
the sound of sweeping above
of a cheap broom hitting a floor a lot at the end of a shift.
You hear that? Upgrade your broom. That's what I got from that. Is we're insulting their broom choice.
Oh my God.
All right, that's what we do here on the Size 10 podcast. Is we talk about quality brooms only. If we're cleaning, we're doing it right. We don't do a lot of it, but if we do it.
I think I got rid of the broom because it's carpet in here. So
yeah, it wasn't good enough for our room. This is the Size 10 podcast. My name is Nick Scalzone. You can find me on Instagram at Nick Scalzone Comedy. I remembered it this time.
Hell yeah. I'm Bjorn. You can follow me on Instagram at SkateCub. This is the Size 10 podcast. You can follow that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you get your things. And also Instagram, we post a lot of stuff. I just made a bunch of clips today for the next episode that's coming out. And the order of the episodes coming out is a little weird because we had Mike on, which was such a treat. And then we went and saw him. Mike Kaplan.
Mike Kaplan. We saw him at Helium. On Sunday.
And if y'all
he is so funny.
Holy. Yeah.
Like I'm coming from I honestly hadn't heard of Mike Kaplan until like a month ago.
Yeah.
When I found out he wanted to be on the pod. And everyone should know that guy. He killed so hard.
He's so good. And it's like meta. I think he might have stopped doing comedy for a little while or just kind of took a break or wasn't touring. And I think it's also he mostly cuz I knew him mostly from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a New York comic, so he doesn't come through this coast as often.
Interesting. I feel like I'm going to have to watch some of his specials, but I feel like seeing him live is a whole nother level because of how much riffing he does.
Yeah.
I feel like none of his shows would ever be the same. I feel like even his most written stuff definitely has little riffs and because his brain works really fast.
I just couldn't even keep up. If you guys want to go and see,
if you guys just listen to the episode we have on here,
bonk would be the best
you
way.
Watch it in my face as I'm actively not keeping up with him when he was in the studio, and then I was like, was that meta humor?
I loved it. I love that we're doing recap too.
I know, but there was a moment where I was trying to say that I was an ignorant redneck that didn't get meta humor, but I 100% got lost two or three times. Especially the time that I was I got lost.
I was regretting that
second
beer so
I
hard.
fully did get lost.
Oh my God, I feel so dumb.
Speaking
I would have to say, and then we'll talk about the beers that I brought. I watched his special again after watching him live, just for funsies.
Yeah.
And it's slower than he is in person because his jokes are probably these are the specific jokes I'm doing. So he's a little bit more, and it feels like stream of consciousness when you're watching it live.
I feel like him in a theater would lose some of that.
And yeah, he was in a theater.
If he was in a theater doing a special, I feel like him at a club where it's tight and small and every little thing you can hear it all. That's the perfect space for what he does, and it was. And
selfishly,
I'm
amazing. Glad he's not more famous because we got to meet him.
We did get to meet him. He owns one of our T-shirts,
and he has one of our T-shirts, and I feel like that's gonna pop up in some capacity.
I want him to wear it. I hope he wears it at the Comedy Cellar or something.
But I actually hate when comics I really like get too big. Because then I don't want to go see you at an arena or even a theater.
I don't mind that.
You are into that, but when
a
comic gets that big, I'm not interested.
Arena shows aren't they're not the best stand-up shows, but they're kind of a fun event. And there's a little bit of I definitely have this feeling of I picked the right guy. I wasn't
validated.
Wrong. Yeah.
Whoa! Look at how validated I am in my
little bit, a little bit. Like, hey, I thought this guy was funny, and evidently so did fucking everybody else.
Hipster taste, like you don't have that hipster taste like me.
Oh, I do.
Where I like doing things that are different, or I like being a little unique, and that's why some of the stuff with the sneakerhead stuff is tough for me because I like it and I don't like it. Because I like the exclusivity part of it. I kind of like because it is unique. It's somewhat unique. You rarely like if you're really into like those expensive crazy sneakers, you don't see them that often.
Yeah,
and
like
that is
high fashion, that type.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it was kind of fun. No, I guess you're right. I don't fully have the hipster thing because like I wouldn't like if I found a band that nobody had ever heard of and then they made it big. Yeah, I would be like, dude, I found them when they were tiny. I'm so stoked they made it big. Instead of being like, fuck that, man. They were better when they were, whatever.
I mean, it's different. They evolve. I mean, like any comedian or
like
whatever evolves as a person.
I love the fact that like there are people that that I've seen do comedy and like started comedy with. Like the fact that some of these people are going to make it. Yeah. Like there are local comics here that for sure are going to end up.
Some of them might be in this room.
With specials.
Or have been in this room.
Yeah. No, for sure. There are comics that we've met. Yeah. And like done open mics with that are going to end up with specials. And to me, that's
possibly cool. There's less than speaking as somebody who I thought that when I started, and I remember every open mic, I was like, "Oh my god, this could be the next
not every open mic
that we're seeing right now." I don't know why that's.
But Patton Oswalt was the guy.
I don't know. That was just the. First
I guess you were doing alt rooms.
Well, so Mike's kind of an alt guy, and you think you're not really like. He was sort of I want to say he was kind of part of that class of like the Camilles and the Pete Holmes sort of and Roy Scovel those are all the people that have really made it.
Those are the guys that went
mainstream. They all moved from New York to LA.
Started in the guys that all started in that alt scene, and then the few that made it mainstream are like Pete Holmes and Kumail. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, he was kind of like in that group, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. I get that.
Oh, so what I was saying was that when I started comedy, I was like thinking that stuff like, oh my God, these are like all the next, and so many have just quit.
Oh yeah,
and don't do stand up anymore.
No, I believe that
because I started in 2012.
No, I'm just thinking about of all the people that I've ever been to an open mic with.
I kind of feel like Portland people just are stronger, and I do not fully understand.
No, there's
why.
Definitely some strong comics here.
I don't.
I think it's just that I don't know.
Maybe
I've heard
the culture.
Other scenes too. I think there just is more time for people to do. I
have a theory on it.
Okay.
Portland, more than any other city, for the longest time has supported shitty arts. And
there's a lot of support for people who suck at stuff.
Yeah. So much.
So it gives you the opportunity to suck until you don't.
Yeah, well, but the thing is more people get actual engaged listening audience. I think that's important.
I think
because
you're right.
I was watching. I went on Facebook, and then apparently some drama happened in the Vegas comedy scene, and then I just was like,
stuff.
"Ooh, let's I'm like rubbernecking hardcore in Facebook." And I ended up. Long story long, I was watching they live stream this open mic, and some shit happened. I can send it to you. It's a little bit, it's not as great, but I'm basically having to watch an open mic to get to the good stuff. And I'm reminded at how horrible the comedy scene is in Vegas. Because it's just all, think of all the worst comics here.
It's just comics.
It's just those.
And they're just performing for each other.
They're performing for each other. And so you're either trying to shock other comedians. It's like every show, even showcases are they're all bringer shows essentially, at the end of the day. Or you're playing for tourists that just want to see generic comedy from I don't know, Nebraska.
Yeah, so they're looking for Dice Clay nursery rhymes.
Yep. They want to see Dice, or what was that other old
Carrot
guy
Top?
that oh my God, that everyone's like, oh, he's so good. But
what, Carlin?
No, not Carlin. God, what's that guy? That
Dane Cook.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Have you
Okay.
seen? It's just as mean and racist. That's all it
okay.
is. It's just.
Or
it's
like what's
right over the
what's
plate.
his name? Who's the guy that was in Caddyshack?
No, he was a good writer though.
Yeah.
Dangerfield.
Yeah, Rodney
Dangerfield. He was a solid writer though. Like
he was.
Wrote
He
and
does
toured
a lot
and
of
did
good
stuff.
Mr. X. He's got a crazy story. He was doing like obviously that's a fake character that he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of did that fake character for like 30 years like in the Catskills until eventually it took off. Like while he was working as like a roofer or some shit. And he had like a wife and kids. So like he got plenty of respect, but he figured out like he figured out this character of like this like, hey, I get no respect fucking guy. And it worked. And he went on like that was back when the Tonight Show was like the whole thing.
Yep.
And I think he did it like 50 times or some shit. He was like the guy.
It was wild. That. But I guess the point I'm trying to make
is
like, I was expecting so I was watching how bad those open mics were. And it just made me realize and appreciate like even some of the worst open mics here, you're not just performing for comics. There's like people that will literally sit through the entire thing.
Well, people here
or like go to a poetry slam.
Yeah.
Or, like
here's
they
the
really
thing.
are engaged. And that's
like,
my theory of why there's so many good comedians.
People here will, if they go to an open mic, a lot of them will stay for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. That's insane and happens nowhere else.
Yeah. Well, and I feel bad for him now, but like I was that person. Like I went to a couple open mics back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like before I started comedy, and I was like,
same as these,
and I stayed because I felt like, hey, you know what, I didn't.
Did you go to any of mine? Did you go? No, you went to mine after.
I think I saw you perform at Alberta Pub, like.
Oh really?
Like a year before I started comedy, like the summer before I started comedy. I think you did a set there.
I did do a few shows there.
I don't remember. It was a Sunday night open mic. Okay. And I think you might have gone up.
I used to go because you could do Devil's Den and then that one. So on Sunday you could double dip, and they were just
double
like,
dip just two premium quality rooms.
God. Well, no, Alberta was usually good and usually got an audience because they wouldn't they only put a few people up and they would like curate it a little bit more.
I do remember the one show I went to. It was some lady's 29th birthday, and she was wasted and in the front row. Just talking to everyone.
I love how like you remember all that, and like, there's no way I'm gonna remember that an open mic that I went to very frequently.
Well, it was one of those things where like it was one of the few open mics I went to, like when I had decided that I wanted to do comedy, but I was too afraid to go up. So it was like it felt so huge and important in my life at that time.
When you moved to the city, did you just go kind of buck wild on like weeknights where you were like, there's stuff happening on Tuesday?
Like, sort of, not really. I mean, I would go to the occasional little event, but I didn't ever go crazy because I've always been like, I mean, I moved here and immediately started a job. Okay. Like literally the following Monday. Like I'd lived here for like 5 days.
I moved to Minneapolis, no job.
Oh no,
I had a place to live.
No,
and I lived on my cousin's couch.
I'm not a risk taker. I don't know if that's become obvious at any point during the 100 and some episodes.
Well, I was like,
done.
whoa, open mics are free? Awesome for somebody that doesn't have a job.
Yeah, no, I mean I went to some free events, but generally I've been like, I don't like staying up super late on a weeknight and like getting hammered and then going to work like hungover. Like that to me has never been worth like whatever small amount of fun I might have. I do it on accident, fucking all the time. But
I do it every Thursday at Neighbor's Tap Room at 8:00.
Yeah. No, I haven't been hungover at work in quite a while, actually.
Oh my God.
It's been a while, and it's just like I feel like I've grown up a little bit in that regard.
That's awesome.
Because my hangovers are so shitty now after like 3 drinks. And I'm just like, dude, I'm old, I guess.
No, dude, 3 is my new number.
Is 3 your new?
No, my number is.
You're like
if I have
the better part of a decade older than me, and you can still do 3. So you're doing great.
So, no,
by the time I'm your age, it'll be 1.
3, right?
By the time I'm your age, I'll smell alcohol and I'll have a headache.
I don't know, dude. I did. I was sober for like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably helped. Like my liver grew back or something. I don't know.
And now you're like, it's getting a little too big for his britches.
Yeah.
Down there.
Let's split this up. But no, that was when I stopped drinking. Was when the hangovers started to like really. And when you stop drinking and then you start drinking again, it's like cool. 1 beer really goes buck wild for me. And then you build up a tolerance again. But. I definitely. Oh yeah, there's gonna just be a band playing. I don't know if I don't think people can hear.
I don't know that they can. These mics are pretty awesome.
Yeah, there just might be some. Well, and I'll just drop anyway.
Yeah, it'll be fine
on it. But yeah, I'm gonna tell this story, and I'm pretty sure I told it before. I've definitely told it to you, and I don't know if I've told it on this podcast. And then we definitely have to get into our topic because this is the bowling episode. I totally forgot. We're just gonna
Well, we're talking about drinking right now, which segues beautifully into bowling.
Yep, and we've been talking about that bowling alley a lot. God, I just want to. Next time I go back there, I'm taking a selfie. I'm going bowling there. That's first of all. Anyways, so. When I moved to Minneapolis, and same thing, I started going to open mics. I found the list, and I started just going for like a straight week. I went, and then one day I had a friend of mine who knew a bunch of he lived in a house, and all of his roommates were comedians. So he kind of knew, like, you just get sort of like absorbed into the scene a little bit.
Yeah, if you're around that many comics, like they're like always at the same places, and they're gonna invite you because they want somebody to hear the dumb new idea.
And he was in like a band or something. So, anyways, and I didn't really know anybody, so like I actually reached out to him, and we were actually hanging out. God, I haven't seen him in a long time. I think it's Sam something. Anyways, he invited me one night. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the show," and so like we went to the show that I actually was later on. Like I don't know, maybe like 3 months later, I actually was on the show. It was run by this guy that's canceled now, so I'm not gonna say the name. But it was called New Kids, and it was like a really cool show. It was people who had just started doing comedy getting to do 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was a bringer show.
Yeah, of course
and then
it was.
Someone getting to headline for the first time and get to do 20 minutes, which was pretty cool. I did 20 minutes twice, and I did 10 minutes like 3 or 4 times on that show. It was super fun, though, because I remember the first time I got booked on, I was like, 10 minutes? Oh, my God, that's going to be everything I've ever wrote, like back to back. I'm like memorizing it, practicing it, and inviting all of my friends. And it worked as a show because new people haven't burnt all the bridges yet, so they and a lot of people, it was like their first big showcase.
Yeah.
And so it was a fun show. But
That's a thing that you've said and lots of other people have said that I never fully related to, of like being a new comic and then like inviting your friends to shit. Because when I was brand new at comedy, my friends had to wear me down for me to like eventually concede like one of the things I was on. Tell them, okay, you can come to this, you know.
I think that it's
because I was like,
I feel like these are the
still
people.
Am like
it's because you're more of a real comic than those other people. I was never that person. And here actually the few times I've been able to do that, it's literally just people from work hear that you do comedy and then want to see you.
Yeah, it's that or
Women
like my friends
from work hear that you do stand up and they're like, "Oh my God, I have to come see you." So like when I was working a job like for like a hot minute, that's who came. I don't know, dude. That's who came to my New Kids show was all of the women from work and their boyfriends
who didn't want to be there, but they were like,
where they were like. Yeah, no, I totally.
Wednesday is her night.
She gets to pick.
She gets to pick the thing, and so we got to watch this guy talk about his dick.
Okay, I got to be really fast. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Try to tell this story.
Start counting.
So I started going to the shows, and I was going to these two shows. I ended up going to 3 shows because we're hanging out with comedians. And so we went to next, and there was a guy that later on became my friend, called me out because I had my handlebar mustache, and I sat in the front row. Of course, classic. Classic I want to try and do comedy move. Sit in the front of an open mic.
I'm not convinced I think that's insane. I think you might be crazy. Because I went to open mics, but I sat in the fucking backpack. I knew about comedy. I wasn't about to become part of it.
Dude,
I was afraid to get on stage. You think I'd rather be asked questions?
At the I don't know. I sat right. I think there was no seats available except for the front seats, and I wanted to sit.
Well-designed mic.
I know, right?
Well-designed.
So I sat in the front, and then I went. So we did like New Kids. Oh yeah, we went to 2 more open mics, and my friend was on every single. Later became friend. Was on every single show.
Oh, okay.
And I sat in. I was pretty close to the front for the first show, and then I sat dead ass front in the second show, and then the third show I was front again with the mustache. And he's like, either you want to try comedy, or you're gonna kill us all. Like, and called me like a creepy redneck or something, and I laughed politely. And I ended up,
dude, or something.
Seriously, a week later, I went and did that same. I did that mic where he called me out. That was the first mic I ever did.
Nice.
Because I in that moment, I was like,
you're like, this is the mic. Fuck you. Call me out.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like
bitch.
that. I just remember, dude. I remember my first time doing stand up, and it was just like,
Did it go well?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Well, you had a weird like you had like these baby steps into it with the
sort
class.
of. But here's the thing: my first time doing stand up in the class, went like way better than I thought it would go. Like I was terrified, and it actually went all right.
The class, there's a lot.
My first open mic, I feel like I ate it
tense
because I tried to do my class set. Like word for word.
The class it's people who are all listening carefully. It's in a fucking comedy club, so it's designed for comedy, and like everything about it sort of sets you up kind of for success. Everyone wants you to be good. I assume, until you are so gross and off-putting and creep them out. No, dude, yours went really well, but you didn't do. We had to go up and like speak up there, you know, like, and there was a bunch of stuff that was explained that really just helped it go well. It's like the motorcycle class. Like I had a bunch of horrible experiences trying a motorcycle at a friend's who are pushing you way too hard, way too fast. I mean, you really are jumping. When you just go to an open mic, you are jumping into the deep end of the pool. You are. Off the diving board.
You're jumping into doing stand-up in probably the hardest environment in which to succeed.
You're jumping off a diving board into a wave pool. It's what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of why mics are... It's why open mics are a good way to learn how to do stand-up is because they're like... probably the hardest room to do stand-up.
And then you finally, the further along you get, everyone is more interested in what you have to say, and you're better. It's like calmer and calmer, and then towards the end, you're just like hanging out in a hot tub with a bunch of your friends, which is a podcast, I think.
Yeah, that is a podcast. That's why I like this, is it's just like, we just talk. All right, speaking of just talking, let's just talk about bowling.
Let's just talk about bowling.
Yeah, so we've been threatening to do this since we started bowling.
Right.
Should we talk about these beers? Kona Longboard, Island Lager.
It's a lager.
I've had this. This is a good beer.
I like it. We've been buying beer from Costco. Just
the big wave,
the grocery store just isn't enough.
the Kona Big Wave, the Golden Ale, that one's really good too.
I think I don't know if that was in the selection. I just kind of grabbed 2 of them.
I think you sent me a picture. It looked like it was in there. Okay. So yeah, whenever you guys get to the Big Wave, remember I said it's a good one.
And this one just I don't know it. I normally don't like getting bottles. I'm more of a cans type guy because of the way
I like
fit
the Kona
in the fridge.
cans. They've got a cool shape. I remember this was a beer. I used to buy this in college.
Yeah, this does seem like a college
sometime.
student
Like
bring
it's
this
not,
to a party, and then it's like inoffensive, but says that you're fun,
it
and you're
looks-
justifying your Hawaiian shirt that you're
yeah,
wearing.
it looks like class right there.
Yeah.
I drank one of these in Hawaii one time.
Mm.
Fucking tasted exactly the same as it does
It's like
now.
drinking a Modelo in
It was actually
Mexico.
more expensive. I remember
In
this is
Hawaii.
what I noted is my uncle used to live there. We went to visit him like 2016, and he doesn't live there anymore. Anyway, we went to the fucking
Thank you for
Safeway
clarifying.
down the street in Oahu or on Oahu in Kailua. Anyway, went to the Safeway. Fucking Kona beer was more expensive in the Hawaii Safeway than it was in Bozeman, Montana.
Because it's where is it? Brewed?
No, it's made in Kona.
Fort Collins.
Wait,
No, this one's Portland. They have
brewed.
Fort Collins, Portland, or Portsmouth.
Oh,
Portsmouth?
shit.
Is it Portsmouth or Portsmouth?
Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Portsmouth.
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 Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Dude,
So they're importing this shit to Hawaii. They're writing Hawaii on it and then carting it across the fucking ocean to Hawaii.
This is the Hawaiian shirt of beers. God, isn't it?
Much like most of the plants and animals there, this beer is invasive.
I love it. It's good. It's good.
Hawaii is a weird place. Have you been to Hawaii?
Just Maui.
Okay. Well, that's Hawaii. That counts.
Then yes, I
it's
have.
cool.
I haven't been to the Big Island.
I have been to the Big Island. It's fucking awesome. Go there. It's really cool.
Okay.
We hiked up the mountain. I don't think you're allowed to do it anymore. But the
really?
one that has the telescopes on top, Mauna Kea. I think it's
Mhm.
Mauna Kea. My sister and I hiked up from the visitor center up to 12,000 feet. We got above the clouds. We didn't get to the very, very top because we had to catch a plane, but we got as far as we could. It was like a 5 mile each way, crazy ass hike we did. And it was one of the coolest places I've ever been. It looked like another planet. It was just past where any plants would grow. So it was just little volcanic cinder cones and just rocks.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, Hawaii's cool as shit. Also, all the animals and plants there are invasive species at this point because all the native shit died out. And anything that ends up there just does great because it's fucking beautiful.
And it destroys the thing that was hey, but we grew up here.
There's no predators. There's no animals that eat other animals except for the mongooses that they imported to eat the rats that they imported. So... yeah, so the rats are a problem. Now there's mongooses that are also a problem. There's pigs that are a problem. There's goats that are a problem. There's deer that are a problem.
How did the deer get there?
The king of India sent them to the king of Hawaii 150 years ago as a gift.
Oh my God.
Axis deer. And now Joe Rogan has to go over there and murder them every year.
Once a year?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I would love to do it. It sounds like a great time, but I mean, it's ridiculous. They drive around in helicopters and shoot them too because there's way the fuck too many and they have they eat everything.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
eat
so that's
everything.
what I know about Hawaii.
So, I've got Hawaii stuff, but I really feel like we have an obligation to our listeners to talk about bowling.
Yeah.
Let's start off with what we're both wearing. Let's start with what we're both wearing. We're both wearing.
Wearing a Bjorn original design.
Yep.
With the name of our team, kind of in the Tarantino Reservoir Dogs font.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think that's. It always reminded me of the Reservoir Dogs font.
That is
and
cool.
And the way the letters are.
Oh, that's cool. I never think about that. I literally when I do graphic design, I have thousands of fonts, and I will type what I am designing for, and I will just click. I will just arrow through them.
Yeah,
until something. I'm like,
cool.
Does that work with this combination of letters? And I just arrow through, and then usually then I get the font family. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be a bold, or I'm like, oh, the serif kind of looks good. Let's try all of the serif ones. Sorry, this is so boring.
It's not boring. It's something you're interested in and good at, and that's the point of a podcast.
I fell on this font, and now that you say that, sometimes I find myself designing things that are similar to other things that I've seen because I'm doing that, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Or like, and I'm not realizing that it's like I'm actually going, oh, that looks familiar. But my brain's like, yeah, buddy.
Just
do
looks
it.
right.
You're so good.
And in addition to that shirt, I am wearing my 2021 to 2022 most improved medal that I won. Because
what was your average when we started the league?
Like 85.
Okay. And really?
Maybe 90, maybe 89.
I was like maybe 90 or
It
something
was
like that.
sub 100 for sure.
Okay.
And I ended at 131.
Dude, that was sick. That was awesome.
Yeah, I caught on.
Yeah, you were
I kind of hit a plateau eventually, but I caught on.
You hit that moment that I always talk about with bowling where or with anything honestly where you get to a proficiency where it's like understanding and proficiency and then you start to your understanding deepens and then you realize what you're doing. So the perfect example of this is whenever people start bowling, they aim to hit the center pin. This is what I did. You try to roll it down the center. But you're not good at throwing a ball very consistently. So you tend to miss just to the left or just to the right. And you hit the pocket and you get strikes as a brand new bowler trying to do that. But as you practice and you start to actually hit where you're intending to hit, then you do not hit strikes anymore. You don't get those random strikes because you're actually hitting the spot you're going for.
Yeah.
And then you understand, oh, this is where I'm supposed to hit. And then you understand how often you miss the spot that you're now aiming for. And so it's just like this feathering of those two things.
Yeah, that's 100% the thing. Is it's like to me bowling was a lot like shooting. Cuz I did
and I
air
think
rifle.
That's part of why you picked it up.
I did air rifle and archery shooting for like 8 or 10 years, like when I was a kid in 4-H. And air rifle is like 10 meters, and you shoot at a little dot like that with the cool ass precision air rifle, standing, kneeling, and prone. And there's a lot of
prone.
Yeah, dude, prone was the shit. That's
What's
where
prone?
That's laying down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
pronated. That's a thing, right? That you can do to something. What is pronated?
I don't know. I know prolapse is something that you shouldn't do.
Prolapse. Keep going. This is so stupid.
Anyway.
I feel like it's like
But yeah, with shooting it was one of those things where like the whole goal is consistency.
Yep.
Eventually, like it seems like you could just muscle the gun into like if you're trying to muscle the gun into aiming at the right spot, you're going to miss 9 times out of 10. If you can close your eyes, relax, open your eyes, figure out where you're aiming, adjust your body so that the next time you open your eyes, you're aiming at the right spot already, now you're going to hit the target. And then you got to squeeze so slow that your brain knows when the sights are lined up. And it will pull the rest of the trigger for you if you're squeezing slow enough. And so the gun or the bow, even more important with the bow, but important with both, the gun should surprise you just ever so slightly when it goes off, and that's how you're going to be the most accurate. It's like to have your
I like
body.
A little surprise.
Yeah, because if you know exactly when the gun's going to go off, unless you're like literally a psychopath, you're going to anticipate the shot and you're going to go.
You'll tense.
You'll tense up a little bit. Depending on the gun, if it's a gun with actual recoil, you might flinch quite a bit because you know it's going to be slightly unpleasant. And so you really got to train yourself to be like, it's not going to hurt. It's fine. It's cool. I just got to
don't be a
think
bitch.
about, don't be a fucking pussy. Don't be a pussy. This country was not founded by pussies. Anyway, yeah, you just have to let the gun kind of surprise you, and it's like there's such an art to being a really, really good shot.
Dude, that might be part of why the last few times I shot guns, people said I was good at it. And that might have been part of it. Is I was like, I don't know when this is like, so
right.
I'm a little bit more relaxed.
There's something about not really knowing what to do that does help a little bit. Although it is better if you like have someone explain all this to you before you start shooting, so you're in the right spot. And if you just move up the guns in a reasonable order, you know, I think a mistake a lot of people make with guns is they think it's funny to give their friend like a painful to shoot gun.
Mm-hmm.
When they've never shot anything, they're just like, oh, this is fine, this won't hurt, and then give them just a cannon.
Yeah.
And then their friend hates it because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah, that's a dickhead move. If you're ever, and this is more reminding myself, anytime I introduce someone to guns, it's like we start with the 22.
Like,
we start
and
with
end
the
with the
22
for me.
Yeah, we start with the 22 until
the
that's
Honda Grom of
No,
guns.
we move up to bigger guns, but it's like I'll demonstrate and I'll be like, okay, so this is, but if you hold it like this, it's fine.
Okay.
You know, and then like once you see how, you know, how awesome a bigger gun is, you're like, oh, that's fucking fun, you know?
All right.
Pretty much anytime we talk about guns, I'm like, whatever happened this week, it's going to be, we probably shouldn't have.
I know.
But what are you going to do?
I'm like weirdly sensitive.
Anyway,
about it.
so bowling is a lot like shooting in that consistency. If you could just, like a robot could outbowl a person for sure, because all it is if you can just figure out how to release the ball exactly the same every single time, then you reposition your body and your starting position, and then you just throw it exactly the same. It's going to do the same shit if you throw it the same way.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, obviously there's little inconsistencies with the oil in that, but like still, you know what the ball's going to do if you can properly execute the throw, which is the whole thing.
And I want to say I do appreciate you guys all sort of listening to my little bit. It's not blind leading the blind. Like I know a lot about bowling, but a little bit of like my non-expertise and just being like, hey, I feel like I helped shepherd everyone on the team into bowling in a funner way than I was, where I feel like I was sort of, I was also just like trying, when I got into it, I was kind of like, because literally I was thinking back on it. I'm like, how did I get,
how
it was
did you get
my
into bowling?
ex and I moved to Vegas and he didn't do anything but watch everything on Netflix and just wasn't going out and doing anything. I was like doing comedy. I was out like doing things and taking improv classes and like weird meetups and stuff that I was into for a minute there. And he wouldn't do anything. And I was like, you gotta go. And he's like, I don't have any friends. And it's like, well, you gotta go do stuff. And there was this, I was like looking up like gay leagues. And he, when he was a kid, used to bowl. And so I was like, there's a gay bowling league. I am taking you there and you're going to join it. And so he joined the bowling league. He like bowled for a little bit. And then the way the dates were, it ended and then summer league started. And like one of my friends and his partner joined a team with my ex. And teams are 4, not 3.
They needed another person.
So they needed another person. And I was really trying to not make it my thing because I knew that if I got into it, I am the guy that swan dives into the deep end of the wave pool.
Yeah.
Like I don't just do stuff. And I knew that. And so I was really, really trying to make it his thing and like not totally take over it. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll join the league. And they're like, well, if you join, you gotta get your own ball. You'll have a better time. Because I liked bowling okay, but I wasn't like super into it. So like we went, I just got like a straight plastic ball. This one right here, this orange ball for the viewers, if you can see it. Yeah, I got my T-zone.
It's orange.
It looks like a popsicle I used to like. Those like lime.
Yeah, lime.
Started wrong on that.
All those orange
cherry.
Limes out there.
No.
Literally, the color is the name of the fruit.
Pineapple. It was like pineapple cherry. And they're like those big
They made
bomb
pineapple
pops.
I would have assumed
They were
orange.
like this thick.
Okay.
And like 8 inches long.
Dang.
And they like the way that I don't know, they were kind of like you know the ice that's like there's like the hard ice pieces and then there's like the whatever that's called, the like slushy ice almost.
Like when it's those little tiny pellets of ice, like it's Sonic.
Yeah. And it's like better.
Uh-huh.
It was like they made a popsicle out of that.
Oh.
Like it didn't have like long shards like most popsicles do. It was just like little Almost like Ultra Boost. It was almost like Ultra Boost. It was like, I don't know, these popsicles or whatever the hell they put in them. Like the way the cherry and the pineapple bonded, it wasn't together as one juice. They were like two juices in little dude, they're so good. So good. That's what this ball reminded me of. And so I got that one. So I just got a straight ball and then I bowled the league and I was the worst one on my team by a long shot, like so bad. So I started practicing a lot and then you start to practice and then I start to, and I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on. So I'm like asking people lots of questions and like getting tips and reading stuff. And then I was like, oh, I should have just gotten a hook ball to begin with. And I wanted, so when I started though, I was like, no, fuck it. I'm going to get real good at a straight ball, even though it's like way harder. And then my friend let me he talked me into it. And once I threw my hook ball, I was like, oh, because when you mess up with a hook ball, you still take down like a lot of pins. When you mess up with a straight ball, it's like one.
Yeah.
Gutter.
Well, because the hook ball grips the lane better. That's the reason it hooks. But that actually means that it carries its forward momentum. It bounces less off the pins.
Yeah.
Because there's this friction force keeping it from bouncing back. And so like there's more forces at play because the straight ball is a straight plastic. It slides really well on the lane. And so it hits the pin and just kind of deflects off of it.
It'll slide around.
And so they don't hit as many pins. And so it's kind of just, it doesn't set you up for success.
Right. But so why, I don't know, whatever. Like, why do they make people start with them? Why is a house ball?
Probably because they're the cheapest ones to make. They're just straight plastic. True. It's not as expensive of a material.
This thing was like $50 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's why they're the house balls, because they have to buy 800 of them. And they're being used by kids.
And so I bought that ball, and I actually bought these shoes. I have not replaced. These are still my original.
Those are your original. What are those, Brunswick?
They're Brunswick. I don't remember the model. Captain? Let me look it up.
Mine, I don't remember the model either. These are the Bread Dexter. And these were $42 because they were on sale. That's what I know about them. The Dexter Ricky 4. These are the Ricky 4s, not to be mistaken for the Ricky 3s.
Yeah.
You know, they really improved from the 3 to the 4.
We're just going to go images.
In the Ricky line.
Here they are. The Ricky 5s.
Oh, I got the 4s.
The 4s.
Yeah, those are the ones I got.
Yeah,
the
right
Ricky
there.
4s.
The bread.
They're still available with free shipping.
At bowling.com.
Oh, $54.95. Fucking inflation.
Dude, wait, what'd you pay?
I paid $42, dude.
Oh, dang. And these are on sale right now.
Deal and a half.
So they've gone up in price. This is classic bowling, like where it's like they don't change anything. There's never going to be a Ricky 5.
You never know. Wait till next year. We're going to see something revolutionary come out of Dexter.
They're like, yeah.
They just look like dumb shoes. This is the thing we were talking about, the reason we wanted to do a bowling episode.
Yeah.
Basically to acknowledge that bowling shoes, there are no like great looking bowling shoes.
No, there really aren't. I've looked, and like the coolest colorway one that I found, I like mine. They're like a gold and black. There's like, I literally picked these out because they were the ones on sale, and I wanted to spend the least amount I possibly could on this sport that I was not going to get into.
That played into my. Basically, I was like, we'll see if this. I just didn't want to spend a ton of money on shoes that I was just going to use for bowling. Mm-hmm. Because you walk like 5 feet back and forth. Yeah. And so I was like, but now I'm like, I could see myself getting like a good pair that has the replaceable felt, you know? Or whatever it is. The slide patch.
Yeah.
Who's
the
this
ones.
Guy?
Yeah.
Oh, this is New Brunswick Police Department. What is that?
I don't know.
Brunswick Captain Bowling. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
There they are.
There they are. Found them. These were literally just like super. They were like on sale, like the box as you. Can you just stop? No. They were just on sale.
Hell yeah.
I think they were like $20 or something like that.
And
It was
honestly,
like,
they still work.
they do. The slide piece is like pretty fucked.
Right. You see, that's why I think getting a pair with the replaceable slide would be worth it. Because then you could have a nice, well broken in pair of shoes and just keep replacing
and
that
then you
one
just,
piece.
It Velcros off.
Yeah.
But
because
the thing is about that is there's
never
different,
gonna wear out.
There's different slide pieces too, like different amounts of slide that you can get.
Oh, for goodness sake!
But like,
you could have a pair of slides for like shitty bowling alleys,
You
where
could.
kids have spilled soda, and then you could have a pair for like the nice bowling alley that we go to.
Yeah.
You know, where they keep the place nice.
Right. Dude, you can see like where. Oh my God, these are like really worn. Mine are very worn out. I realize I probably should get new bowling shoes. And there's been a few times where I've gone to shitty places and there's like, and that makes me so mad.
Here's what you should do.
When they don't clean the lanes.
These for the shithole places and get a new pair for league.
Because I have a giant ass bag, I definitely could fit like
you have a
more
suitcase. You could travel. You could travel the world with that bowling bag that you have.
Know. I got it for Christmas and it just is decadent and ridiculous, and I don't need. I actually like my old bag better.
It's pretty cool though.
The
Like it has a
two-ball.
lot of space for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It weighs like 900 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 15-pound balls in there, 16 or 15
So
pounds
it weighs like 60 pounds.
at minimum. But it's like heavy to begin with, but it's cool. It's camouflage. It's whatever. I probably should show it, but dude, so
Man.
I have a pin on my bag that's my 150 game pin, which I find hilarious.
You have a 50 game
A
pin?
150 game pin.
Oh, like for bowling a 150?
So the league I was in at the time gave out like little pins that said like congratulate when you like someone. There was like a 150, a 200, a 225, and obviously there's the 300 ring that every league gives. But which someday maybe I'll get one. Who knows?
I just imagine how far in your head you'd have to be on the when it comes down to the last couple frames of a potentially 300 game.
You know what it would be for me? The way for a 300 game to happen would be like we did our thing. So in our bowling league, we did a thing where we would do if all of us hit a strike in a row in any way. So it could be like out of the order that we.
Yeah, it
just
didn't
had
have
to
be like starting with the player number one.
Yeah.
But if like number 3 hit a strike, then number 4, and then number 1, then number 2.
Yeah.
Like if all 4 of us hit in a row, we could do a shot of Patron.
We did a chilled shot of Patron.
It was delicious. We did it one time.
We got to do it one time. We almost got to do it another time. There were 2 or 3
other times. There were a lot of times we got 2 to 3 out of 4.
Dude, that last one though, do you remember it?
No.
David hit a perfect strike and left like a weird rogue random pin that was like boop 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 boop. Nope.
Oh.
It was like one of those really like
so like you hit a strike, Paul hit a strike, I hit a strike,
Yep.
and then David hit a wobble.
a 9 and a wobble.
Ah, son of a bitch.
But he hit the pocket just right
Yeah.
and hard, and it should have been a strike. And I just
like it
remember
literally the last pin wobbled and then decided not to fall over.
And then we owed like he just missed a 300 game. like we were so loud. I think we were the loudest team most of the time. There was a
People
point.
liked us. We had a lot of fun. I don't think we annoyed anybody too much.
Dude, we made it on one of those weird, like we made it into the voting of like the
of like people's favorite teams.
People's favorite team or whatever.
Basically, like who was the
popularity.
Most kind of
we
like
were almost the
nicest
prom
team or
queen
like
of
people's favorite team
of bowling.
We were up there.
Or miscongeniality of bowling. Is that
favorite? I think that's like nicest.
That's the favorite.
Yeah.
Of the we made it on the list, which I was like, damn, first time. All right.
It was pretty cool. We also got what, 3rd or 4th place in the league.
I don't remember. I think we got 3rd.
I think we got 3rd. Yeah.
Did we get 3rd? Or did we get
Hang
4th?
on. I'm going to walk away from my mic for a second and verify this because my bowling bag is here.
Okay, cool. I want to remember. I want to know. Like we did really well.
Yep.
What'd we do?
3rd place.
3rd place, baby. Which is, I think, okay. It's the classic The classic, just like
we got a 1 ounce silver American
Hell
Eagle
yeah.
for doing that. This is, with inflation, this is worth more than it was.
You could get a gallon of gas with
Holy,
that thing.
yeah, you could
Hand
get,
on that,
you could
fill
get
her up.
you could get a shot glass full of gas for this fucking thing. This was worth
my
$1
God.
a couple months ago, so this was worth $1.10 today, and yeah, that's not and it's take my truck to the gas station and be like, yeah, let me get her filled up. You know what, man? I'm feeling generous today. Do premium.
Premium.
Just
Yeah,
want to
flip him that
piss
coin.
even
Keep
more of
the
my money. away.
change.
Yeah, keep the change there, sport.
Oh
Get
my
yourself something nice.
Get yourself something nice. Oh.
Here's a $1 fucking big silly silver coin.
Hell yeah, dude. That was so fun though. No, so because we got third in the way that it's like the Olympics with like certain certain sports where you have to lose to get second. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So like hockey, basketball, any of those like brackety ones, soccer.
Yeah.
In the Olympics, you lose for silver. So you make it to the last game.
You make it to the final game, and then you
one
lose.
gets gold, the
Gold
other
and
gets silver.
Okay.
But then there's another game that happens that's probably not televised. No one cares about it. It's mostly just fun for third and fourth.
It's all just so that they actually have a spreadsheet that is legit behind the scenes.
They finish out.
Yeah, we were playing the third and fourth game, and somehow I think we tied it or barely eked out a win.
So it was like we had no chance of beating the first and second, but we beat the fourth.
Actually, what it was
we
is
won for fourth.
We could have potentially gotten second.
Was that oh, that's right.
What it was is if the second place team had sucked more. Because what happened is the first place team couldn't be touched. But we went into it tied with the second place team.
That's right.
And then we kind of choked.
We
just a little
choked.
bit.
Like
we got 3 out of 7 points.
Right.
The final day. But the second place team, crushed the first place team.
Oh.
The first place team choked, and the second place team crushed it. And so they took a commanding lead over us as, we just kind of did average.
Yeah.
And so the fourth place team, they weren't going to beat us because we didn't lose by enough. But the second place team secured their spot.
Yeah, we had
That's what happened. It was quite the adventure. It was quite a day.
We
somehow I went to that for 4 months straight and never got COVID. and then I got COVID at a fucking bar a month later.
Well, I'm
we
wore
amazed
masks
you didn't
for
get,
most of it.
I'm amazed you didn't get COVID because when I was coming down with it, that was the car episode,
dude. We hung out in a car, then we did a podcast.
We drove your car for 2 hours and then did a pod for an hour and then drove your car some more.
That's right. And I did not get COVID. I don't think. I mean, I tested a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You have had more exposures to COVID.
I've had so
official
many
exposures to COVID than anyone I've known that hasn't gotten COVID. I guess Joanna hasn't gotten COVID either. And she was around me even more than you were that week.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to know. But
dude, it just doesn't even. It's very weird.
It's a wacky thing.
But we wore masks for half. That was another interesting thing about the league is we had to wear masks for probably 3/4 of the league.
Yeah, and then the mask
and
thing
then the
ended.
mask thing ended, and it was sort of awkward for one where it was sort of this this Prius of some people.
Yeah, it was
were
very very much okay.
Some people were just shutting their engines off when they were just at the table, but then when they went around the place.
Oh, and I took part in that. I fully brought a mask for a couple more weeks. I brought it. I still bring them.
Bathrooms,
I still wear them.
I still kind of do too.
Bathrooms are fucking gross.
It's I'm glad I have a mask that I can put on before I'm going to this horrible place.
Well, yeah, I think it
public
works.
restrooms. They should have little dispensers.
So I do a KN95 if I'm in a public restroom. Fuck that shit.
Or the big one, the painter's one.
Yeah, no, I've got a literal gas mask I'm in a war. I go in there looking like I'm investigating a nuclear disaster.
Yep.
I'm just like,
and then you leave a nuclear disaster.
not in a public restroom. I'm a gentleman.
You're a gentleman.
I hold it in intense discomfort until I get home, like a good person.
I want to talk about like people who have loud ass conversations in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's weird.
Where you're just like, really? They're like, no, I'm fine. And you're like, fucking gross.
Here's
Stop
the
it.
only exception
It's
to that.
echoey.
The only exception is if you're in a bar bathroom and you ask everyone just a silly question to like break the tension of a bunch of dudes having to be in a room.
Oh
and
no,
pee.
I mean talk on your phone. Answer your phone.
Oh, people answer the phone in a
You've
public
never had that happen?
No.
You're like in there, you're like, we're all supposed to be looking forward and pretending we're not hearing the noises that are coming out of all of our bodies. And you're going to take a goddamn phone call in here and talk loud?
No.
I know. This
Some
never
people-
happened to you?
No.
Oh my God.
I don't know how it has.
I don't know who I feel worse for, myself or the person on the other end of the line.
I feel worse for you. The person on the other end of the line may not know. And if they do, they chose this idiot as their friend.
I'm just like,
You know?
why is it so echoey every time I talk to you?
If you
Where
have
are you?
telephone conversations while you shit in a public toilet, you're the worst kind of person.
Dude, it's happened to me multiple
Like
times.
that person, I'm glad they're breathing public toilet air because I hope they breathe in a pathogen and they perish.
Get double COVID.
I hope so. At least double COVID, maybe triple. Those people need to go.
Oh my God.
Thankfully they're just, if that type of decision is a decision they're making other bad decisions.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get them. And
you're
I
like,
don't feel bad.
You're like, I'm okay with it.
That's Darwinism. That's evolution.
Yeah.
That's how the gene pool edits out
What
idiots.
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. No, never call people on the phone from a public
Yeah,
restroom.
let's not do that.
I don't know why that
I barely
needs to
talk
apparently
to
be said.
people
No.
anymore. You text like a normal person. You text
Yeah.
from the stall. Dude, at one point in my life,
Yeah, no,
the
you
only
can
time
text
I
from a
texted was
toilet.
I was too scared to actually talk on the phone. So at one point in my life, I only texted when I was in a bathroom because that was the only time I wasn't down to like have a conversation. And then
there was a point in time when if you got a text from Bjorn, like
and man, I was shitting.
you're taking a dump.
Yep. If like you called, I ignored it and then I just changed the conversation to text. It meant I was shitting. They're really getting after it.
They
now.
are. Should we just what are we thinking?
Well, I want to finish this thing about the bowling league. The bowling league, what was really an interesting moment about when the masks came off.
Yeah, the masks.
We had been hanging out with these people for like months.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what they looked like.
I mean,
It
you
was
could
wild.
put some of it together,
You
but
could,
yeah, it
but
was.
for the most part, it was just like, oh.
It was kind of interesting to be like, oh, okay.
That's what you look like. Like
Then
some
again,
people exceeded, some people did not, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't like.
Yeah, you're not gonna name
Carol
names. You're just gonna be like, let me tell you who was a disappointment and a half.
Disappointments are this one, Debbie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm naming all these like random.
Yeah, just like that guy, great abs, but he took the mask off. And you're like, holy
You're like,
hell,
put that back on.
that's why you go to
please.
the gym. No,
Those
like,
arms did not match those face. I see you're compensating for something.
all right, that's the mask is as much as I want you to take off, sir. Nothing else. Keep
Mask
it
is
all
as
on.
much as I want you to. You're gonna, shh,
No.
leave the mask on.
Actually, put it back on. Put that back on, and keep the rest on for
Yeah.
sure.
Take your shirt off,
Yeah,
but keep
I
that
need
mask
no more
on.
disappointments in my life.
Ooh, that beard goes all the way through.
Oh,
All right.
Jesus.
Dude.
Yeah, no, it was like, what I thought was funny was just like, and I was part of it, was like the kind of just feeling it out. Like I showed up the next week, like I knew masks weren't required, but I had one on.
Yeah.
And the moment I saw like half of people had one on, I was like, you know what? I want to be one of the good ones. I'm going to keep my mask on.
And there were some people that were kind of giving you the like, oh, you're the good one.
There were some people giving me that look like, yeah, fucking pussy.
Oh, no, there was people that were like probably appreciating it. And
yeah,
I was just
there were
mask
people
came
who were
off
like,
so
there were
fast.
like, yeah, there were definitely the people who had the masks on were kind of sitting there like, I'm glad some people are exercising caution, and the rest of the people are like, yeah, you bitch. What are you afraid of the air?
I loved how Paul was. We had a conversation. My boyfriend Paul, he was on a previous episode, and does our social media. Shout out, thanks Paul. He and I had this conversation. He's like, I wonder if it's gonna feel weird to like take our masks off, and then the two of us could not have taken our masks off and like be cavalier and like coughing and sneezing on people and each other and into fans. I don't know. I did that the other day.
You coughed into
at
a
the
fan?
office. I was at my office. There's a fan next to the microwave, and I was just like, and I totally sneezed off to the side, like into the back of the fan.
And you're just
I was like, well, I'm a super spreader. Glad everyone in the office is wearing headphones right now because whoops.
Yeah, but everyone at your office has already had fucking COVID.
I know.
And tried to give it to you and failed.
I did not get it.
So I think we need to talk about one more thing.
Oh yeah.
This is a turkey call, and I started bringing this to bowling.
Yeah. Wait. Aw. It's like
Explain why I brought a turkey call to bowling.
because when you hit 3 strikes in a row, it's called a turkey.
Yeah.
And we hit a lot. I feel like we hit more turkeys.
We hit way more
the
turkeys
call.
before I brought the call
We
because I
barely used it.
always brought the call and put it smack in the middle
Right.
of the table, kind of like, come on guys, we've gotten kind of good at this, let's do it. And then we all just sucked.
I feel like it was like me filming comedy sets. Where like
You're
it's like,
right. The
when
moment
I-
you
like,
get the camera up, then everybody just eats a dick.
Yeah, then it's just like, ugh, everyone's not as good. Is the camera part of it? Maybe. I don't know. I think that it did add a level of pressure. Like every time we got close, it was like, oh my God, we're like clutching it.
Yeah,
Each person is
whoever
like,
was close, I
who's
was
gonna
just
get to like, you're like ready to go. And then it wouldn't happen. We did it for other teams a lot. Like it was fun. I thought it was gonna be like, that's fun. So it's like a box, and you can like do different stuff to
it's the Lynch's World Champion turkey call. It's a box call, and then you got this side as a gobbler,
Okay.
and this side is a hen. It's a little higher register, and then if you shake it, does a little bit like a gobble. I'm not that great at calling turkeys.
I feel like somewhere it's
I've never
Googleable
actually called a turkey
to be like, what grit sandpaper do I need to use to make the gobble side of the thing work?
I mean, this is definitely someone did some craftsmanship. There's like this little shape.
I know.
I don't know why there's a corner out of it, but
Yep.
there is.
It's important. It's a part of it.
I
That's
did-
kind of cool.
I did.
I
kill
thought
a
it was going to be
turkey
like a
one
duck
time.
call where we like had to blow into
No,
it.
I killed a turkey one time. My dad called it in with a box call. It's not this one. He bought me this one. He has his own one. But yeah, he called in a turkey with one of these. So they do genuinely work. I murked out a turkey when I was like 13. There are other kinds. There's a kind that's got like a little stick and then a little round slate. And you do kind of the same, like drag the stick across the slate and it goes. And then there's a little like horseshoe shaped thing that you put in the roof of your mouth. It's called a diaphragm call. It looks just like an elk call.
Okay. Oh,
And
okay.
they
That's
make
what I'm
those
thinking.
for turkeys too.
Oh, we
And
should
you can
get
just
one of
do it.
them.
Well,
That's a COVID.
I
This
have
is a
one of those.
COVID-safe turkey call.
Right. I have one of those. They're like
One that
$8.
well, this one goes into your nose and you blow it. It's fucking perfect though.
No,
we can share it. Everyone use it.
The thing is, this is a lot more fun and like
Just the
theatrical.
Q-tip going like way the fuck up there. It's a COVID test and a turkey call in one.
Yeah. No, the diaphragm call is cool. And like if I was hunting turkeys, I'd probably use it because it's so convenient to just have it right in your mouth
Yeah.
and just be sitting there like, "Erp, erp, erp, erp," and then like there's a turkey, and then
And
be
then
like,
you can and then you can just get them
blast them.
and just get them.
Get them.
Oh man, dude, this was a really fun episode. Was there anything else that we did? Was there anything that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. We talked about bowling. We talked about the Ricky Fours and the whatever those
champions.
The champions.
The Brunswick champions. Which I guess we got to say, are we going to blow the back out in these? I think I've pretty much blown the back out.
Yeah, you've blown the front out or the bottom out.
The back
or the
back,
the toe
front,
out.
So, yep, this was
these are a blow something out.
Yep. Dude, those are pretty sick. I didn't like them as much online, but then in person they're kind of dope. With, like,
the whole point of like bowling shoes, though, I think, is to just kind of they're a tool.
Okay, so this is a thing that I guess I didn't get to say, and then you can take us out. What I remember when I was bowling, when I first started, I started in Vegas, and I was practicing all the time, and I remember seeing a group of young, let's be honest, black guys, young black guys, come to a bowling alley in like the morning when I was practicing. And they were and they had all their like bowling shit, wearing like hype Jordans, you know?
Yeah, like they came in with wearing cool shoes.
Yeah, they were wearing cool shoes. And I remember watching them take those cool shoes off and put on some like dumbass, like
boring ass bowling
shoes. And I was like, there's no way that because I'm always looking for like businesses to start. And then I was like thinking, oh, maybe there's a way you could like mod take a cool shoe that you like and like add. So I went down a rabbit hole of like how to do.
Add a bowling sole to a regular shoe.
Well, I was thinking like with those replaceable soles, you could just like sand the sole down in like some blazers or something.
Yeah.
Like use a sander, cut and then put like a Velcro thing, and then you just put the slider on.
Yeah, because I feel like every sneakerhead that bowls has done the same thing, which
like
is
Jason Belmonte
scrolled through to see if there's cool bowling shoes, and all of them suck.
They're all terrible.
So is there a reason for that? Like, what was the solution that you found at the end of the rabbit hole you went down?
I don't think that it's just like bowling shoes are just such a niche thing, and I think it would just take like one like Nike to just like be like, oh, bowling's popular, let's sponsor a dude.
Let's give one bowler like a Jordan 3,
and him being like, yeah, I want to dunk low. And then it's sort of like how Jordan golfs. That's why there's so many golf shoes.
Yeah.
It'd be like, you know what we need? I know what we need. I know exactly what we need. Jordan needs to get into bowling.
Oh, and he would be good.
Dude,
he would
see Michael Jordan
buy
get into
a bowling alley.
And then
he
get
would
some like
put one into his house and get amazing.
Dude, because I've thought about it, and we've talked about this on the podcast. If there was the Bread Force came out in a bowling shoe. Are you kidding me? I'd pay so much money for those.
Yeah, I would buy those.
I would buy those at resale
if there was like
$600.
a hype bowling shoe. Like a hype shoe.
Yeezy,
yeah, the Yeezy bowling. Yeezy bowling 100%. Or like a Jordan bowling. Like I would buy that 100% just because it's like.
And I would spend a good amount on it. I mean, I would spend more than I spent on my bowling balls.
Yeah, I would spend like $300 or $400 on like a really sweet pair of bowling shoes, like a Yeezy or a Jordan bowling shoe.
Yeah. 100%.
Just because like, also most bowlers don't give a fuck, but I do. And so I would.
But it's like, it's right there. It's super easy. I want to see it. But
yeah.
I don't know what we.
They would sell them out.
You know what I want? My dream is like if I do make like crazy money, get like the shoe surgeon to do you like a shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And do a bowling shoe.
Yeah, I'd be down to get a custom.
In like some wild.
Like a custom
like
hype bowling shoe.
Some wild shit.
I would want to just get like a regular hype shoe, but get a proper bowling sole on
that
it.
would be sick. Even just like a Jordan 1 low or something.
Yeah.
Or
right.
5 low. That would be sick.
That would. There's a lot of shoes that would be good bowling shoes, I think.
A dunk.
Well, let's let the band play us out here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna outro us. If you guys had a good time listening to us, why don't you hit a like on this YouTube video? Why don't you hit the bell icon? I don't know what it does, but supposedly you're supposed to hit it.
Yeah, notifications.
Sure. Anyways, hit the subscribe. We're on every platform. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. That's video. We got audio everywhere else too. Go ahead and follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Size10 Podcast. We put content out because we're creatives. We are content creators and creatives.
Yep.
And Bjorn, as a creative, where do you create shows every week?
If you're in the Portland area. Oh my God, that shit just got so much louder. We're so close. We're so close, you guys. We're almost done. We're so close. Oh, there we go. Okay, they closed the door. If you're in the Portland area, 8 o'clock, Neighbors Tap Room, Bangers Comedy, every Thursday. Me and Eliza, we have a fresh lineup, and we've had some cool people. Like Mike Kaplan was on our show. So,
yeah, you never know.
Hey, you never know who's going to be there. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Bye.